All right, everybody, here's the deal. Today, I have to go back to the homeland for some family business. So this is going to be another pure Michigan travel vlog. I would like to show you some things. Before you do, there's some updates. First of all, I'm Jimmy Desmonding on Ravelry, Instagram, and Ko-Fi. You can buy my patterns on Ravelry. And there's going to be a test call in this episode, so check out the form below and then stay tuned for some more details. But let's go and figure out what I'm going to pack. So in terms of packing, I had this idea for a hood that I was going to bring with me, but I decided not to and pack light because I think I might be bringing a lot of stuff home with me. I'm not quite sure. So we have this sweater. This is what the test call is going to be. I don't have a name for it now, but I will by the time that this video is posted. I need to finish this sleeve before I get on the plane and start this sleeve. So if I finish this one, I can make sure it fits because you've already ripped it out once. And then if I'm on the plane, this is a really easy pattern. I just follow the stitch markers and it will tell me what to do. So that's the idea, is get this done. And then the other thing I'm bringing is my scarf by Jonathan Tollow. It's called the Brioche Adventure. This is using Holst Supersoft cone in black that I have. This one is Kaos in the colors Enigmatic and Zealous. And this is their organic soft merino. It's an amazing yarn. They sponsored that one, just to be transparent. But this one was not sponsored. And I just wanted a brioche scarf that's going to take a long time to make. So here it is thus far. It's not so far done, and I'm just gonna go until I feel like not knitting. But this will be my pick up, put down project. This will also, I think, be my plain project on the way back. So that is what I have picked up, and who knows what yarn I'm going to buy or what trouble I get into when I travel. So I will see you on the plane. I wanted to hop on and show you this. This was on my bed when I came in, and this is my inheritance from Grandma. This was her knitting basket. It stood up. It had a lovely bamboo texture, and in it was all of this yarn, which apparently was from Kmart, and it's all acrylic yarn. It's mostly DK worsted weight. There's some chunky in there. There's the Aurora cabin shawl, which I made her for her 101st birthday, but that will be going to my mother. And I have a bunch of straight knitting needles, and they're all in like US sizes. It's crazy, but Grandma was a bit of a trendy knitter. She did like big knits with like 5mm and up, so she's a bit of a cool girl, let's say. There's a couple of notions too. But I think what the plan is, and we'll see if I do this or not, is there are some DPNs right there. I was thinking I have a couple days. I might try to make some hats out of this yarn using her needles and then like give it to some family members around. I don't know if that will work or not. My parents are like, you need to make 3. So maybe that will happen, maybe not, but we'll see. My brother is a crocheter, so he might end up taking the yarn and I will take the needles. Yarn, needles, Aurora cabin shawl. That's all I got. All right, here we are. This is the summary video. I'm sorry if it's echoey. I'm sorry if the sound is not great. I just brought my phone, so that's what we're dealing with. But let's go over my yarny adventures in Michigan. First things first, this is the sweater that I finished on the plane. This is my Enigmatic, and this is my new design. For the test call, you can sign up for the test call for this today. The link is below. Just fill out the Google form and you're in. If this is anything else like my other test knits, if you apply, you'll probably get in. Also, this is made in Kaos yarn, and this is being sponsored by Kaos yarn, so they are offering a discount I believe 15% off if you would like to join the test and use their yarn. I have to say, this is my first time working with it. It is so soft, it is so nice, and this sweater feels amazing on. So let's go over the sweater. I wanted to make this sweater A, fit, and then B, just be like a pretty simple raglan. Like I didn't want any bells and whistles. Sorry, my throat is a little... Anyway, so what you do is, it's a raglan, top down, all over colorwork, babes. It is a fingering weight yarn that I used. The green is called Zealous, the dark blue is called Enigmatic. And what I did is I cast on using the German twisted cast on for the collar, and then essentially you knit the motifs the way I instruct, and you go from there. It is a compound raglan, so instead of increasing every row or every other row, there's usually, depending on your size, it's a set of increases every row and then a set of increases every other row. And what that does is it makes the shoulders a bit broader, so it fits better, and it makes the yoke a decent size. A lot of times with these yokes, they're like down here and the pattern is whatever, and it's just like it doesn't fit well. So I made it so it fits, I guess, my preferred unisex size chart. So it's not men's graded, it's not graded to women's. Clothing doesn't have a gender, so I'm not going to design anything with a gender. And that's that. So it has just like a single stitch for the raglan. It's pretty straightforward with that. You cast off, and then I knit the body, and then you knit the sleeves, and you do some decreasing on the sleeves. You can see the decreases right there. And then the cuff is just a 1x1 rib. It's nothing fancy. I was going to do a colorwork rib, but after seeing this knit up, I guess it's more green than I thought it would be. And so I just wanted the blue to pull out a little bit more. So I made the cuffs and the hem in the blue. And that's it. I mean, other than that, it's a pretty straightforward raglan. You don't have to catch the floats. You do have to follow this chart, but it's a pretty easy chart. It's 14 by 14 stitches, and then it's not a difficult one. You can see the design. It's really pretty simple if you look at it. And then this one, I mean, you just have to be aware of the chart. You don't really need to look at it in order to make it work. So that is pretty easy. So you have a little bit of chart reading to do, but it's pretty intuitive for the sleeves for sure. You won't need the pattern for that. Then at the very end, I pick up the neckline, and I did some short rows in the neckline. So the neckline is longer in the back and shorter in the front. And what that allowed is for me to have the pattern starting from the ribbing and it still have that fit, you know, like it's no fun if everything's like the same size because your back is like bigger and taller. I'm not explaining that well, but the back needs to be shaped differently than the front, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And with this pattern, I wanted it to be full on pattern and I didn't want that to be interrupted or have that like, you know, just the swath of just like blue in this case, it would be before the pattern starts because I just don't think that that looks good for an all over pattern like this. So that's what I did. And so the short rows are in the collar, they're not in the body or anything. So when you knit, it's essentially until you put the collar on, it's pretty even. So that's something I did to help with the fit and stuff. I'm wearing size 3 and I have about 5 inches of positive ease, maybe like 12 centimeters. That seems about right. And then you know, the cuffs, the hem, all of it. So this was a really easy knit. This is, I would say, if you've not done color work before, I would not necessarily attempt this unless you're very brave, but it's like a second color work sweater sort of thing. Or a first color work sweater if you've done color work, or like, it's pretty simple. I think something that I've been trying to do with my designs is if it's going to be a fairly straightforward pattern like this is, that the motif and the colors and stuff like that, that has to be what shines, instead of trying some weird complicated stuff. I think the more complicated the construction, the more simple I would want it to be. But this is a really easy construction, and it has pretty standout motifs, and I really like it. I was hoping this actually would read a little bit more bluey, but it doesn't. But regardless, there's a difference in both pattern and color, and I just wanted it to like be a problem pattern. I want them to relate, so they're both sort of, this is like a square flipped, like a diamond or a rectangle, and then this is just a square not flipped, and then the main color for this is the green and the main color for this is the blue. And I just wanted them to like pattern clash a little bit and create a little bit more interest without making it that complicated. So this is the sweater. I would love you all to join me for the test. I would love to see all your colors. I was almost considering doing like a very light blue instead of the green, and then like a cobalt blue for the main color. I think that would look stunning. And then like, I think like a hot pink and a yellow or something would be really cool too. But I mean, it's up to you how you want to do this. Like I said, Kaos yarn has amazing, vibrant, beautiful colors. I really like this wool. I think it's really nice. And yeah, so I hope that you join me this admin about it. Fill out the Google form. It's open for a week. I will call the test, I think on the 20th of December is when I want to notify testers. There will be an Instagram group, and you will get like a Google Doc of the pattern so you can comment on it with stuff. There is going to be, I think like a 12-week test. I want to release this March 15th. So I think like March 10th is the deadline for this sweater. So I know it's a fingering weight all over color work, but hopefully within those 12 weeks, you can finish most of it. I think that's a pretty generous timeline. I'm also just requiring you to go and like break for the body, do one sleeve and do the collar to give me feedback, and that's it. So I realize that this could be a really big undertaking, and I want to release it, I guess, within this season, but I also want to make it accessible for whoever wants to test it. So that's the deal with that. Try to make it simple, trying to make it easy for you, easy for me. I'm very excited about this. Kaos Yarn did a great job and all of that. So this is the, I guess, a finished object too. I finished the last sleeve on the plain. So yeah, this is my Enigmatic. And you may tell me that I'm beautiful and that this pattern is beautiful and you want to test it for me. So there's that. This is a little bit of a different episode, so let's get into some things. This is the only other sweater that I brought. And this is my Saven Sweater by Megan Babin for Hudson and West. If you followed this channel, you've seen this before. This is one of my favorite sweaters, if not my favorite sweater. The yarn is incredible. It is by far like the most beautiful sweater I've ever seen in my entire life. I still stick by that. I love this. And I brought this specifically because Grandma gave me some money. She moved out of her house in the 90s, in her 90s, not the 90s, to live with my aunt and uncle. And therefore she like sold the house and like gave us some money. And I spent it on very expensive yarn, but this yarn is beautiful and the pattern's beautiful and it's something that I wanted to do. And so now when I wear this sweater, I think of Grandma. So of course I had to bring it to her funeral and wear it. So yeah, the family saw this too, which I thought was kind of nice. And yeah, so I brought the Saven. And the other thing, aside from the knitting needles that has fallen into my lap, is for her 101st birthday, I was switching jobs, so I had a little bit of time off. And so when I have some time off, I can come here because then I have time and I don't need to use vacation days. So I did that, and I did the Aurora cabin shawl, and this is Stephen West 2021 hibernate along. And so This is what I made her. I knew she was a knitter, so this was her 101st birthday present. She did not know that I was in town. So like when I presented it to her, she was like, "What are you doing here?" So it was really nice. It was a really special moment. You know, thank you to Stephen for this moment. And I gave her this and she loved it. She would like sit on like with her lap, this on her lap and read, or like put it on her shoulders if she was getting cold. And so now this has come back. This is all knit in various shades of Holst Supersoft. All I really know is that one is called Opal, one of the blues. The purple is Princess. I think the cream is the oat, but I really don't like that. And then the Ecru is the white. And there's another one in there, but I don't know what it's called. Ice? I don't know. But yeah, so I had this, and so now it has been returned to me, I guess, and it is not going to stay with me. I think my mom wants it. So I want this to stay in the family. I want it to get some use. My mom expressed an interest in having it. So it is going to be hers now and not grandma's, and at least somebody will love it and enjoy it. But yeah, I think I knit this also in like 10 days. Maybe? Not even. I think I knit this like super fast. I really just like went for it. This is a big shawl. Like I am a tall boy. Well, American tall. And this is like wider than I am tall. You can't see. But so it's a big shawl. I did a lot of knitting for this one. And it turned out all right. So very happy with this one. This is back. I have a video. I think one of my first Pure Michigan blogs. Maybe? Second? Anyway, there's a video that I can link that has this. It was really good SEO at the time. I was like, oh, I'm famous now. I have people watching my videos, and then it dropped off. I think it was just because I had the Aurora cabin shawl within it. So that was that, but I did this. It's beautiful. It is now in a new home, and I'm very excited for it. And then one silly thing, and then we'll go into my yarn haul. So we went to a cider mill. I don't know why my mom felt, oh, she needed apples for something, so she went to a cider mill, and there's one that's still open. So we went, and they had this toe jam that they sold, and I thought it would be funny, and I'm gonna gift it to my nephew over Christmas, because I thought that it would be funny. It's tangerine, orange, and elderflower, which is why it's called toe jam. But I bought this. I also went to like Meijer and got a bunch of stuff that I either can't get in the Netherlands or is not that good in the Netherlands. So I got like toothpaste that actually comes in like a size, and I got NyQuil and things because drugs are really unregulated here, and you can really get some like strong stuff. So every time we come, I try to get something so when we're sick, we can just knock it out. So those were the other purchases I have. Let's go on to wool. The first wool that I bought was, I visited my friend Joann, who I didn't think was still open. I don't know. I thought that they were closing. Apparently they're still open. Let's preface this. Let's go back a little bit. I don't like doing acquisitions. I don't really like saying I bought this, this, and this, because I think consumer culture, when you're talking about something that's such a slow craft or so slow knitting, is really, it doesn't sit right with me, because some of these people have a ton of crap, and then they have like a whole wall of yarn behind them because they think that they need to do it, and then they never use it. So I buy with intention, and something that I wanted to do while I was here was buy, well, things that would like round out my stash, but yarns that I can't get in Europe specifically. So I made a couple of things. The first stop, as I said, was Joann, and I got the Fisherman's wool. I had it before in the Ecru color, and I used it for something, but this oat color spoke to me while I was there. And I bought a jacket's quantity. I have an idea for a jacket. I might use this for that jacket. I might not. I don't really know, but I figured I would have like a sturdy garment's worth of Fisherman's wool and do that. And I think I got 3 of these, which are like huge. and it's enough for something for me. And it would be, I think it cost me like $21 or something. It costs like no money. It's 100% wool. What are the stats on this? It's 100% wool, 8 ounces, 227 grams, 465 yards, 425 meters. It is a, where's the camera? Which end? Where do I put it? It's not like the softest, but I think it's a pretty decent wool. It's fairly rustic, and it works. It's wearable, and I think it's incredibly affordable, and it doesn't have any acrylic in it, which I really like. So I did that. It's a worsted weight. So that's what I bought at Joann's. And then my brother and sister-in-law, I got them into knitting and crochet. They decided that they needed to stop doom scrolling. So sister-in-law went for knitting, brother does crochet and Tunisian crochet. And so they took me to a couple of yarn stores. And it was so much fun, like talking to these people and seeing these yarns that I haven't seen before and like getting really into it. Like, I'm not a great yarn shopper, but it was nice seeing this different stuff than I normally see or is normally within like my my world, my knitting world, whatever you want to call it. First one we went to was Have You Any Wool? Rochester maybe is where it is. I don't really know where I am anymore. I have no concept of where things are here. I've been gone 20 years at this point, so I don't know where anything is. Anyway, we went there, and they had the two things on my list that I was actually looking for. One was North Light Fibers, and they are a Michigan yarn company, and they have breed-specific wool, and it is beautiful. And she pulled some stuff out of the stock room that she's not selling, but she has, and she like took me all through it. And so I was like, oh my god, because I knew what I was talking about and I'd done my research, and it was like really nice. So the two bases that they stocked were the Elemental, which was 100% Cormo, and that was beautiful. I don't know if I have any footage of it. If I do, I'll put it here. If not, you're gonna have to look it up. They had some really good colors, and it was so like thick and plumpy. It reminded me a lot actually of the Hudson and West Forge. And they only had it in sport weight, but it was the Elemental, and it had some really good, vibrant, cool colors, which I thought by their website that they didn't really have that sort of thing, but seeing it in person was really good. It would be wonderful for some texture. It was like so beautiful. The only reason why I didn't buy it was because it's like $35 a skein, and I would need like 3 skeins, and I don't know what to do with it. So I'm going to come back here at one point, and if I have a project in mind, I will purchase it then and do all that. But until then, I'm not buying. And then the other one they had was their Heritage, and the Heritage one I really liked. That was more rustic, and I felt more suitable for like a color work. And it was like born, bred, milled, dyed, processed, you name it, spun, all in Michigan. And so I really want some of that once I have a project for it and I can figure out, where to get it from. And they had that in a couple of different weights. I think that there was like a DK and a bulky maybe. Maybe it was a worsted and a bulky, but either way, that was really nice. Honestly, I like the Elemental a little bit more with the Cormo, but I felt like I would do something with the Heritage because it would have more meaning to me, and I would get that. But I mean, either way you cut it, they have beautiful fibers, they had really great colors, and I saw that and I was very excited. So that was the first thing that I was looking out and I didn't buy. But what I did buy at that shop was Bluesky Fibers Prarie. Now, if you know me, and I'm going to be a hypocrite soon, so just don't judge me, but I have been trying not to knit with mohair. I tried it and it's just like not for me. And so the Prarie is like a fingering weight alpaca that sort of is like a mohair substitute. It's thicker than mohair. It's not a lace weight. I have 3 and some skeins of this in my stash. but to round off a sweater's quantity, I would need another one. So I bought another one, and I just got the color Raven. It's in black. Let me see if I can separate one of these fibers. I've knit with this before and I love it. It is just like dreamy and soft and beautiful and like furry. Can you see that? Am I showing this right? That's what the fiber looks like. I really enjoy it. So yeah, I got one of these, and what I want to hold it with is a strand of fingering weight from Holst, because I have that cone that I'm knitting my Brioche Adventure with, which I didn't bring with me. I need to go and get that. And I am gonna have a ton left over, so I'll have a sweater with this. I'll just knit something plain and like comfortable. I haven't really decided what I want to do specifically with it other than Bluesky Prarie, Holst Supersoft, and we will do that. So there is that. While I'm talking about the Holst Supersoft, I'm gonna go get the other project. We're back. Why would I not bring my knitting to a knitting podcast? I don't know. So this is the cone of Holst Supersoft in question. I have a lot of it left. I'm going to have a lot of this left. So I think that with the Bluesky Prarie, this will be a good combo. I know it. But I'm using this because I needed sort of like a mindless project and I didn't have anything at the time in mind. Now I have a bunch of stuff. But I wanted to stash bust and I wanted to do like something that would just take a lot of time and make it brioche, because sometimes I just crave brioche. So in walks the Brioche Adventure by Jonathan Tollow, which is actually an Advent scarf, but I hacked it to be one color instead of a two-color brioche, just because I wanted to use this. I knew that I would, if I had a, can you see this? If I had a scarf, black scarf, I knew I'd wear it. So I was just gonna stash bust and do this with it, and then I knew that I would have enough for a sweater too. And I was gonna actually make this pattern myself, but he already essentially wrote what I had in my head. It's a little different, but it's all right. But it's essentially these bands of brioche, and then they're separated by some garter stitch. It's nothing too amazing. I think when I started left, I was here, and then I've knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish stripes. I'll get this 5th stripe done for sure. This might go on hold. It probably will go on hold when I get home, because by no means is this a priority. I don't need this cone for anything, and then this is like at night when I don't want to knit anything to think about, I just knit this. So I have this Brioche Adventure. I'll get it done eventually, but it's a good travel knit. I'm concerned about knitting it on the plane on the way back, because this is all I have left. I didn't cast on anything new. And I have a little neck light that I'm going to try, but also it's a night flight, so I'm hoping that I can actually sleep. And I don't know. So there's this. I made some good progress on it. I'm going to knit it roughly as long as I am tall. It ends up being something kind of like this when you hang it out, but it's really like a sideways scarf. I'm also using 3.25 millimeter needle. So it says double 2-color brioche on a 3.5 millimeter needle. And so I like really hacked it. You're supposed to do 12 repeats because that's what an Advent has, and then like stretch it. But I'm just gonna knit until I'm done, until it's long enough in this one color on this smaller needle, and it's gonna work out fine for me, and I'm gonna be happy with it. So this will pop up, I'm sure, a lot more, because I just don't know when this will be done. I have some stuff coming up that I need to take care of, let's say. So there is that. But there will be a scarf test knit call in the next episode. Not for this, but for something else that you haven't seen, but it's going really fast, and I actually need to do that before I start something else. So last thing I did, I went to, where's this bag from? From Woolly & Co. Now this place has been suggested to me several times by people like either speaking on a podcast or they've like messaged me and stuff like that. And so I wanted to go there and just see what's up. I didn't really have any intention of buying stuff, but I did, and we'll discuss. What I wanted to do there is get stuff that I can't get in Europe, and then different versions of it. What I settled on was, well, first of all, it was an incredible store. The owner was super nice. I really liked, didn't get her name, but like we chatted a lot, and I saw all the samples and we talked about all the yarn. She has an excellent selection of like cashmere yarns that I could not afford, but I wanted to afford. And they have a lot of Noro and Woolfolk is what I really walked out of there from. They have a bunch of other stuff too, so you can go take a look. She said that she only does soft yarn. She doesn't like some of the stuff. Like I asked if she had Noro Silk Garden because I've never seen that before, and she was like, Noro Silk Garden's not soft, so we don't have it. So she only has soft yarns. But it's a great selection of soft yarns, and it's great. She has some affordable ones, all different yarn weights. She has some hand-dyed, all that. What I ended up going with was 2 different Woolfolk yarns. This one is Woolfolk Flette. Flette? Can you read that? Sure you can. This is a new to me yarn. It is a like black blue clay. Can you see that? Yeah. It's a black blue clay, and I wanted to use this for like color work, and I thought if I did like a DK color work, I could toss this in and sort of like how Fair Isle like gradates like the color and stuff. Like maybe I could do like a couple rows of fluff in with like a regular DK sort of color work. I think that could be fun, and then just like have a little bit of textural difference without having to change the stitch or anything. So that's what I'm thinking. I only bought one of these. It's all right. Let's get into the details. This is color 15. It is 131 yards, 121 meters for 50 grams. The gauge is 20 to 18 stitches. It's a US 4 to 5 or a 3 to 3.5 millimeter. So this will knit up at a DK. I can maybe use it as a sport, but like something like that. So I got some of this. And the other thing I got was this yarn. This one, can you see the light? Is something I'd never seen before. It's a chain net. So instead of just being like spun plies, it's almost like a braided cable. Does that work? Do you see that? I hope you can. And the samples of this were really nice feeling. And they had it was really nice on a tighter gauge too. And I'd never worked with like a chain sort of yarn. So I thought that this was good to explore. It feels amazing. It's super squishy. I'm assuming it's 100% merino. What are the stats on this? This is Woolfolk Far, FA with like the circle on it, R. It is color 14. It's like this dark pewtery forest green, I guess. It is 142 yards for 130 meters for 50 grams. This is only 50 grams, not 100. And it knits up at about a worsted weight, 16 to 17.5 stitches per 4 inches on a US 6 to 8 or a 4 to 5 millimeter. So that's what this is. And here's what I'm thinking. Let's have some real talk. I'm thinking that I bought 3 of these skeins and I'm going to make some sort of accessory with it, but I don't know what. And I've been thinking this might be a good opportunity to do a free pattern. So what I want to accomplish with a free knitting pattern is something simple and something easy that I really don't feel like needs to be charged. For example, Sophie's scarf and Sophie's shawl, those should be free. Like there's no way. She's made so much money off of it. It's great. I understand why she did it. Those should be free. Those should at least be 1 pattern, not 2. Anyway, it's ridiculous. So I'm thinking like a bandana or like a balaclava or something fairly simple. And so simple construction. And then I do want a stitch pattern on this, but a fairly simple stitch pattern because I think the samples that I saw, that's where the yarn really shines. So I'm thinking maybe like a scarf with like a woven stitch pattern or that Betty Martin stitch, which is like not super complicated. I could write this up, give you the recipe for it, so you could use whatever yarn you wanted to use, and then just sort of make the scarf. Put it up for free. I'm hoping that will grab the attention of new viewers, knitters, something like that, so that they like come over to my page and see my other patterns and pay for them. Or Woolfolk. I do kind of want to get in with Woolfolk, and I want to be friends with Woolfolk because I really like their yarn after seeing it, and they've got some like weight behind them. And as a designer, if I can get something out that they like promote or something, I think that that would be good. So I paid for this yarn. It was, how much was it? It was expensive. Woolfolk is expensive. It's nice, but it's expensive. It was $22.95 for one of these, and I bought 3. So it'll be an expensive little scarf, but I wanted to try it, and I think that that might work. We all know that I've come on this channel before and said, I'm doing this next, and then you never see it. There's that naturally black yarn sweater that I haven't made. There's a couple others that I thought of. Anyway, it just, we'll see. Oh, that hood that I said I was going to make. Did I even talk about that here? Maybe it was Instagram. Not quite sure. But I'm thinking that this could be that, and it would be a good replacement for that scarf as just like a really simple pattern that I work on at night when I'm brain dead, because the motif would be like simple, and like the increase and decrease weight would be like simple. And then I could just write it up and put it out pretty easily. Once I have my pattern template, it's pretty easy for me to plug in what I've done and write it. I don't really have a problem writing the patterns. The grading is where I shuffle my feet on things. So for accessories, these I can like get out pretty quick. So that might be one. I don't know when I'll get to this, maybe in the new year, but that's the idea for the Woolfolk from Woolly & Co. So that is what I have. That is the whole Pure Michigan experience. It went okay. Coming to my parents' house now, this is not the house I grew up in, and so it feels like a bit of a holiday and like a little bit of a break, and it's quite nice. It's surrounded by a lot of nature and some water, and that's, I like that. It feels not as traumatizing as coming back to your childhood home, but it's weird being back in America, and I've been gone a long time, so like, I don't know, there's a little bit of like adjustments and stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for indulging me on what I knit, how I travel, what I brought with me, all of this stuff. I'll have a more regular podcast, I think, next. What I'm having issues with in terms of these podcasts is if I'm trying to design, which I am, I don't really have a lot of like projects I can talk about unless I'm ready to like call for testers soon. So I really don't want to like knit this up and show it to you and then not grade it for 3 months and then have it do whatever. So that's why I'm having a little bit of problems with like the theme of the episode. And what I think I'm going to do going forward is have some special episodes, but it's really just going to be like a bi-weekly catch up. I will not have acquisitions typically unless I get like something special. I don't really know. But it would just sort of be like new designs, test calls, what I'm knitting on, or, stuff like that. So you will see more of a typical podcast from me. I'll still try to like group things, obviously, because I think that actually works better when you have like a series of stories. But, as opposed to just like, this is what I knit, and then I knit this, and then I bought this, and then I knit this. Like, that doesn't quite do it for me. I mean, there's a market for it, and it's fine, but like, that's not necessarily me. Anyway, that is sort of what to expect in New Year's. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for traveling with me. Thank you for signing up for this test knit. I'm looking forward to all of your versions of it, and I will catch you in the next one back in Amsterdam. Bye.